Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of High Talks where we're on a higher level. I'm Kat,
I'm Toby.
and today we'll be discussing does money change you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we created this podcast so that we could start conversations like this and, include everyone. As Toby loves to say, this podcast is not just ours, it's
our podcast, which means you're a key component of this podcast. So make sure you comment, you share.
like, is it the pursuit of money that changes you, or is it actually having the money that changes you? Is it the concept of money, or is it actually having it in your hand? Because because for me, like, I think the pursuit of money is of course going to change you, because if you weren't pursuing it before and you are pursuing it now, then you've clearly changed your mindset to be, hungry for money. But actually having money, like, whether you know what? Actually, yeah, I think both of them changes you, because having money, I just think it changes you in different ways. Because I say, for example, if you're born with money and without money, then you would be a different person. But then at the same time, if you were born without money and then pursued money and the ideology of money like was ingrained in your mind, then you would change as well. But I think the question is really, I feel like, is it a negative impact that you get from money? And I don't think that the pursuit of money necessarily is dependent on the person, and it's not money changing you, it's you. You already had that in you. Like, the pursuit of money it's not money's fault that you got crazy about money. You know what I mean? Like, some people are like very much like addicted to earning money, and that is just you. That's not money. Money didn't do that. That's your problem. You know what I mean? But then the amount of money, like actually having the money, then I think it's like the question of does having money, does that change you in a negative way? That's what I'm confused on.
I like the way that you broke down the question into two parts, and it is kind of a two-parter. Even though it's just one sentence, it kind of is a two-parter, because does the money itself, if I gave you £1 million today, is that gonna change you? Or if you worked hard and you earned £1 million, would that change you?
Exactly.
And I think the first scenario, if I just gave you money, will change. Will actually, I think that wouldn't change you. I think that would just increase what you are, kind of thing. And but if you worked hard for £1 million, the things you have to do to earn that £1 million, the discipline, the determination, the hard work, the networking, all the things that are involved with that, will change you in certain shape or form. But overall, money does just emphasize what you are. So if, for example, we see this all the time with celebrities, if they have addictive personality, they've now a millionaire, they go crazy on drugs and die of overdose, because it's just increased that addictive personality.
Yeah.
If you're someone that's very given, you're just naturally generous, and you've earned money or you've been given money, you're now it's just an increased amount you can actually give to people. So I think it doesn't change you, but it does change you as well, depending on how you've earned it. And it's a yes and no, but I think it's more, it doesn't change you, it's more makes you more of what you are, kind of thing.
Does money change you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
100%.
Does it matter on the amount of money?
Yeah.
It does matter on the amount. So a small bit of money won't change
not going to change you,
But like
$1 million
will change.
I'm acting different.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's interesting though. How much money do you think it takes to change someone?
Well, as I said, I don't think it's the amount of money. I think it's the intent with the money. I don't think that, okay, I think, no, I really don't. I think if you gave me 4 mil right now, I'm not changing. I'll be gassed.
Yeah.
But, I'm not, my being isn't changing. My being will stay the same. I'll just go wild for a few days, buy a house, buy a car, and then, let's see. If I'm gonna, if I blow money anyways, I'll blow it. If I save money, I'll save it. You are the same. I don't really agree with that point. Yeah.
Okay,
What
fair
about
enough.
you? Do you think a certain amount of money will change you?
I don't know. I don't think it would change me. I think it will give me more confidence in myself because you just have that security. Anyway,
Do you think that's dependent on the type of person, or do you think that's
Yes.
so it doesn't change everyone no matter what?
no. Everyone has to change in a certain way with money. With
Some
money, you have to
change
handle yourself differently.
Okay.
You have to.
Now he said facts there though. You do have to be more careful about who you let into your life when you have more money. That is very true
Of course.
because then people come for your monies.
But I think that's with any positive trait. Like, I feel like there's vampires out there that are just trying to take goodness from you and have nothing to give. Like, I think it's not just money. Yeah, it's just kindness. I'm quite a bubbly person. I like to make people feel good. I like to make people, like share positivity in that. But then I realized, there's people out here that aren't giving me anything back.
And taking
all of it, all of my light is being given to all these people. I'm like, why am I doing that? It's the same with money. It's like, it's good to be a good person.
Well, vigilant, careful about who's around you. Vigilant.
Does money change you?
I think it does.
Yeah?
I think it can change you if you let it change you. So I think I've seen people who suddenly got a lot of money and they didn't change because they had very strong values and maybe their life upgraded, they went to nicer restaurants, got a better place, but they didn't change their personality. And then I've also seen people who have had money the whole time, and when they spent time with people who had less money, they were very humble, and they were very humble, and then they started spending time with people who had a lot more money, and they kind of became more
interesting. So she's kind of saying that because of the money you have, you end up being surrounded by people with more money, and obviously people with more money have a certain way of thinking sometimes, depending on who. Not all of them are like that, which
People
will
born
change
with money.
Yeah, usually people born with money, which will change the way you think, because obviously you are the sum of the 5 people you have around you, kind of thing. That's something like that, as they're saying.
Yeah.
So I guess that is true. I guess in that aspect it will change you. But I guess if you're someone that doesn't like those kind of people, you wouldn't be friends with them anyway. So it just depends on the person as well, no?
Yeah, I think it's more so that's back to the, you've already got that traits within you. Are you a people pleaser and a butt sucker that you always went around doing what your mates were doing?
Yeah.
Like, if you were like that anyways, you're going to be like that about money as well. So
yeah.
I think people who stick to their guns, you're going to stick to your guns. If you don't, you don't. That's it.
mental, and if you didn't spend as much money as they did, they were very you can't hang out with us and things like that.
Wow, right. And does money change you?
Yes, I think it does. I think in terms of the people I know who have larger sums of money, it does change them, because I think it changes their existence and the way they can perform basic human things. It makes it either easier or harder, and they don't know necessarily how to think for themselves sometimes. So I think that takes that choice away sometimes.
So do you think that's a conscious decision, or you think
sometimes it's just it's subconscious that they just get swept up in it, and sometimes it's other people taking that away from them, which is a sad thing.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how to think for themselves. I mean, I get it. People. But that's the thing, is that he's talking about if someone's just been given money, you haven't worked for it, you've just come into money, and this is exactly what we're saying about you haven't got the skills, you haven't been educated, you don't know educated about money, you haven't been taught how to handle this stuff, and that's why you're being swept away with it, which is not your fault. Well, maybe it is. You have your own. You should be educating yourself, really. I mean, in this day and age. But it's not. Have you changed? He said people changed. I don't think you are changed. That subconscious word that he uses is very key there, because it's if you're allowing things to subconsciously happen to you, and allowing things to change you subconsciously, then that's a problem. You should be conscious about what's going on in your mind, and conscious about the decisions that you make and stuff, especially with money, because that's your livelihood in the world that we live in.
And that's one trait of very successful people. They are very self-aware.
Yeah.
To a point where it's almost kind of scary. Yeah. They're just very critical of the very minutiae of their life. And I guess that's what helps them reach success, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think an excessive amount would, like billions and stuff and multiple of millions.
No, all she said was maybe millions and billions will change you. I'm not here for
Okay.
Does money change you? It doesn't have to. I don't think so. If you know who you are and you know, if you're grateful for the source of your funds, if you're humble in your possession, then it doesn't need to change you.
Okay. But do you feel like it can change people?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. If you're obsessed by it, like anything, you know, if it becomes the be all and end all of your existence, then it can change you for the worst. I think that's definitely true.
I think he was spitting straight facts. Like, he put it down to a T, because there it's about your, like, if you are grateful, if you with the source of your money and stuff like that, like if you will as you said, like if you this is who you are, like if you either have that understanding or you don't, like and if you do, like you won't change because you have that understanding about that, and that will stay true to you.